Alright, everyone, welcome back to content for the Cult of Larry Draft League. I'm Dr. Geo, with me is
Huitku.
And what we're going to do is we're going to be going over some power rankings. This is for the Disciple Division. This is our mid-tier division. It's based off Gary. You can see him rocking his 80s style right now. It's quite spectacular. But we're going to go through every team. We're going to give some thoughts, what we think is good, what we think is not so good, and then we're going to rank it out of 10. From there, we'll just be able to see who's in first, what's in second, I don't know who's in third, yada yada yada. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to do this in draft order. So this is Brochurikin's team. This is the... Hey, pull up my cheat notes. Because I just want to make sure I get the actual team names right, not just the coach names. This is the Midwestern Mulchers, right?
Let me pull out my cheat sheet real quick.
We're very well prepared. This is a super professional operation. We conduct ourselves. Yeah, this is the Midwestern Mulchers. I get his and Zardace's team, even though Ace just uses Charizard for everything. So
Brochurikin did a rebrand recently, though.
Yeah, I really like the new logo. Anywho, I don't want to spend too much time not actually talking about the team. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the team. It's got a Mew, Lando T, Turnape, Klefki, Rotom-Mow, Vaporeon, Mega Jesus, Hisuian Gudra, or Hudra if you will, Persian Alola, Haunter, and Basculin. Not the cool one, but
no.
the like Iron standard play fish. Okay, so right off the bat, this is a Mew team, so we need to kind of evaluate, does this do is Mew free to do whatever it wants? And kind of looking at it, I would say yeah. For defensive pieces, you have Vaporeon, Hudra, Klefki, Rotom-Mow. It's not perfect. The double steel typing between Klefki and Hudra, I think is going to be wanting. What's your fighting type resist other than me right now?
You don't have much. I mean, the Haunter can take a hit or two, but
nah, it's a Haunter.
It's a Haunter, so
are you running Eviolite Haunter? Please, yeah, you can't do that. So it's a little.
Lando T can take a solid fighting resist.
You're right. Lando T is your fighting resist. So I think Mew's kind of free to do whatever it wants week to week. You can run an offensive Mew every week,
and you have the hazard stack with it too, and being supported by Klefki as a spiker also, if you need. Solid options, solid for hazard stacking.
Yeah, Klefki could come every week as run Spike, T-Wave. I'm not sure you need two other moves. You just have to hope it actually dies once it does what it needs to.
Toxic Foul Play. Defog if you want to remove.
But so I'm liking the shape of the Mew team. It's got some nice speed tiers as we go from 121 down to 60. This Hudra is a menace. It really can just kind of delete fairies from the game, despite being half dragon.
And getting some solid trapping now with Infestation.
Yeah.
And Toxic Spam.
Scary setup. Vaporeon's a nice solid wall that
gets Calm Mind.
It does get Calm Mind now. That's a bit
It's
scary.
Calm Mind, and we did learn that it has 110. Yeah.
So this may be a little under tiered. Vaporeon. Basculin looks like a mon that had 1 point left or 2 points left, so let's get something. I don't think Basculin's ever coming to a game unless out of spite.
Unlikely with the amount of immediate damage you can get from Infernape or Orlando. Even Mega Pidgeot can spam some Hurricanes. I don't really think there's room for Basculin to come in. Unless you really have a water weak opponent where you can just spam.
Even then, I feel like Calm Mind Vape would do it better. I mean, Basculin's 92, but with adaptability, that's like one Calm Mind. Whatever. Yeah. It hits a little bit different. It's got a nicer speed tier, but it exists. So, not to get too hung up on the like low point on. This team has hazard removal for days. Like, got great momentum. Setup, like, Boardmon's out. Like, I think this is a very well-rounded team. I'm a big fan. I don't really see any glaring holes.
Well, if you want me to be very picky,
yeah.
I see a lot of potential for hazard stacking with this team, but you don't have a single rapid spinner. So if you go up against a second hazard stacking team, you're gonna have to defog it away, moving your own hazards also. So kind of counterproductive. But other than that, there's really no glaring holes at all in this team.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess the other thing too is this is pretty nitpicky. You don't have a grounded poison, so like T-Spikes can be a bit of a problem, but then again you have No T, Rotom, Mega Pidgeot, Hoodra, Lefty that are all...
2 steals. Yeah.
So I don't think it's the biggest concern.
You got Heal Bell and Vaporeon, and Mew can also be a cleric if you want to use that slot, but
yeah, I don't think it's overall. I'd say this is like a really good team. Okay, well, the last thing is like breaking power. It's kind of the Lando team.
It's immediate.
Infernape can break, but it's really hard. It's like missing base stats and attack or special attack to do it viably. But it can go mixed. It's fine. This is me just being nitpicky though. I think overall I'd probably put this at like a 9 or an F to start us off.
Yeah. 9 seems pretty good. Just lack of the immediate offense can give other teams some little extra breathing room to switch around, especially if you ran your Lando defensively. You'll really have to rely on your Mega Pidgeot or like a setup Mew, weakness policy Mew. But yeah, it's all in 9.
That's like your favorite set. I mean, if it works, it works, you know? Alright, cool. Let's move on to Frandy's. The coach of the... Oh, she's the Washington Why Naughties.
Love it.
She has their Shifu Single Strike, Urshimoney, Gengar, Axis Speed, Scizor, Swampert, Mega Altaria, Swellow, Tangela, Rotom Frost, Vigoroth, and Carkol. So this is a Ursh team. So I have a few... I feel pretty well qualified to talk about Ursh team. I have a few qualities that I really enjoy on Ursh teams that like I feel really set up for success. Do you have ways to remove fairies? Or at the very least overwhelm them? So let's see. Gengar. Most fairies are going to die to Gengar. Scissors and other fairies.
If you avoid the Mystic Fires.
Yeah, I mean not all of them, but like Bullet Punch is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
If you're running it super defensive, Scissor can take one.
Yeah, and
like,
roost it off.
And
Yeah.
if you're trading, care anyway. The other thing that becomes kind of hard to do draft is like securing your game winner. Like that's why I had like things like the Spectre, Aerodactyls, something in a high speed car for in this case, the Axis defense or the Axis speed.
Speed.
Which totally doesn't care, right? It's gonna go.
No. Yeah.
And we have some really nice supporting pieces here too. Swampert and Angela and Mega Altaria is and Scissor's gonna probably be defensive. Totally cool for it. Vigoroth, Frandy showed it to success last season. Sparkle's a really underappreciated gear mod. I think it's about as bulky as its like larger cousin. Just has to run a light. It has like 2 great abilities. And I didn't talk about the Swallow. Swallow's
yeah, Swallow's the real underrated MVP here. Just people sleep on it, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, what's a low little what's a special on this?
75.
75.
Specs, boom burst.
Not awful. But it dents holes, and the speed tier for it is great to support the Gengar and
yeah, with the specs.
Urshifu.
I mean, point being, if you're max SpDef, EOD, calc for like specs, boom burst is 45 to 50%. I mean, it's just a high base power too.
And you can also do like a throat spray set to also boost your heat waves on it, or the sneaky gut set 1 week if you just want to change it up from boom burst. So it's solid point value.
This is another high ranked. But Rotom Frost is whatever. I think if you run this Rotom as an offensive mon, and that better.
Yeah, defensively it's not going to take a lot based on experience, and blizzards are not running blizzard on it is actually a little beneficial because it opens up some room for support on it. Because the 30% is huge from this washing machine, or not washing, the freezer.
but it's okay. It's not common every so.
No.
Fine.
Oh.
So this team actually has one of every type. Wild.
Yeah.
Hard to do, actually.
One thing on this team that I think is lacking a little bit is reliable recovery. Because Karkle's not coming every time. Altaria likes to run Dragon Dance, and while on this team it can actually run a more supportive role. But then Swallow and Rotom, Scizor, they don't usually will want to be your removers. And you do actually have to support your Swallow, Rotom. You don't have too many weaknesses to hazards here, but you can see hazard stack being a problem for this team.
I think this team wants to play pretty fast anyway, so it's not going to be super long. Like, you'll be happy getting a single spike up with the Axis. Get like a spike up with the Swampert, backs up at that point. Pivot in until you have or
yeah.
Switch, that's gonna probably be 5%. I like it.
And the Yoxus can go offensive.
So I'm biased towards Urshifu. I think this is a pretty straightforward itself, so I'm gonna like put a little bit of Pro's team. So like if we gave Pro 9.5. Yeah, go ahead. Perfect.
Solid.
Okay, moving on. Next team This is Charizard Ace's team.
The Dragapult.
He's the coach of the Saint. The Charizard. This is the shorter team. So it's just Dragapult, Ursaluna, Rotomon, Rachi, Incineroar, Oleon, Romatisse. So we have Ursaluna. Obviously, it was drafted in leagues. This is the only one that doesn't have true. I know Aromatisse can set the Trick Room. Not quite the same. Get out. Gotta switch Ursaluna in. It doesn't mean like Ursaluna. I'm just making that point. I don't think Ursaluna needs Trick Room to be good. It just needs to hit whatever's in front of it. This team will do that.
You know, at 50 speed, if you put a Scarf on it, it's still gonna reach, I think, the 300s to be a sneaky Scarfer and hit really hard.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't need guts. It still has 140 attack.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And you can run return if it wants. Or I think since it's a bear, you should be running what's the unhappy version of return?
Frustration.
Yeah, you should be running frustration. I would, personally. That's just me. So I think you've got ways around it. Scarf's pretty nice. Obviously you have Pulp that can do Pulp. Not worried about the speed. There's a bit of a gap as we drop from like 100 down to 60. Just have room in the middle there. I think that's a bit exploitable. Like all your base 85 stuff, you just scale down. 60 super ticky. Same thing with all the night stuff, because Rotom Wash generally doesn't like to run. It can.
No.
It's like Rotom Heat, it can, but you don't always run. I'm hoping... you saw games last season. What's your thoughts on this?
Not like that. On paper, honestly, it looks really good. But it kind of became easy to predict, in my opinion. Like, you're probably just gonna run an offensive that either Scarf specs or Calm Mind, so there's not much trickery hidden behind it. And just probably based just on the moveset alone that it has, that it's kind of locked to Legend Arceus, and like no legacy moves for it. But if you are unprepared and you don't have anything to take a strong fairy hit from it, it's gonna do what Mega Diancie can do. It just sweeps teams.
Yeah, that's kind of where I felt. Like I was really hyped for it, but it's like a strong fairy attacker, and like you just don't have a fairy as a defensive piece on. Normally, I mean, now you've got a Aromatisse on this team. That's I'm not sure it gets much stronger than that defensively. Maybe Granbull. Good.
Yeah.
Like so, like Jirachi. I think my biggest worry for like its ability to fighting type attacks, because I don't think you want to be. I know it's like between Neuromancer and we can handle it, but like it still seems tough. Hazards are pretty weak. Gotcha. Oleon for Stealth Rocks. Wheezing Candy.
Yeah, it does force Jirachi to do a bit of a defensive set or use a slot for Stealth Rocks. But between Aromatisse and Wheezing, those mons can work defensively really well, but they can also be exploitable. You can get those subs up on their defog / pain splits. Although you can't taunt Aromatisse, which is a good thing for it, and its Moonblasts can actually deal decent damage out of 99 special attack.
Yeah, I mean, there's the thing. I've lost a game, like it was an end game. I've lost it to Trick Room.
One thing that I like for Pult and having some experience with using it is having a very strong defensive dark type to go with it. And I don't know how Incineroar fits that role. It's mostly an offensive pivot, in my opinion. So I'm really curious to see how Treasures will make Dragapult work, and the gap is also pretty big for speed, 142 and 108. So it lets
nothing in that like 110.
Yeah.
Like,
lets those 130s exploit that speed gap and just ran Modest / Adamant, your Tapu Kokos, Mega Pidgeots.
Or worse, they go up and they're still timid.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, there's just Rotom Wash for Hazard. Struggle to just light Hazard. You don't have to put a ton of stuff, just forget about it.
Like, does regular Weezing not get defog?
No.
So only go.
Just Top Hat Weezing.
Only Top Hat.
So like when you know the defog turns, free switch, like it's a free turn to do it. Yeah, feels pretty equitable. So overall, this team's not quite on the same level. I think it has some strong upsides, like with Ursaluna and the Pult. I think that's actually a pretty great combo. A lot of the things that switch into Pult don't want anything to do with Ursaluna.
Yeah, they won't have the defense to take it. Like your Umbreon's
imagine you have Umbreon, switch it into Pult, because that's switching. Takes 25% after your leftovers recovery. You do Ursaluna.
Then it Guts Facade comes out.
You click Foul Play and hope that it does anything. Ursaluna's super tanky. 130 HP.
With 105 defense, so it's going to take a lot of damage, or a lot of hits back. And
yeah, so I'd probably give this about a 7 out of 10.
Fair.
Or, I mean, we could do 6.5 out of 10 too. Well, that's probably about the range.
We'll see how it does offensively. Offensively, there's a lot of potential on this team, a lot of good momentum and pivoting. We'll just have to see how it does on the defensive side.
Yeah. So let's peg it at a 6.75 for now.
Yep.
Alright, we're gonna move on to Helix's team. So this team is the St. Louis Shroomish. St. Louis right next to each other in the draft. Really wasn't planned. But so we have Landorus, Zeraora, Heatran, Mega Gyarados, Blissey, Cleaver, Sneasler, Katarine, Dhelmise. Alright, first off, Sneasler is good. I swear it is. I know it had a lackluster performance as a 15-point mon or 16, however stupid high we had it. It's good.
Sparky did okay with it. It was pretty scary.
Sparky had a weird Zoroark team to get into. But okay, so this like first 3 combo is not something I think I've seen before, but I kind of like it. Like some strong breakers for Zeraora. I guess the issue, like just looking at this team, like falls to me as weird is are you really bringing Cleaver every week? Like I think you've got a good game break with the Lindo and the Gyarados, Zero. Clean up. What if you fall behind?
Offensively, like this team is ridiculously powerful. Like the average seems low at 109, but like you're counting also Blissey's 10.
Yeah, like just for a
attack.
I'm gonna get rid of Blissey.
Yeah.
Like, watch this jump. So it's like average 109. Get rid of the Blissey. I mean, it's struggling.
So it's ridiculous.
So it goes up to 121. Insane. So, and I mean, the Blissey's like gonna be a great teleport pivoter for you.
Yeah, and Cleaver does can get U-turn now through Legacy.
U-turn, so, but I mean, it takes 25% from rocks, and like Fog is and Delmise is not
just
wowed by Delmise being. If you're running, I feel if you're running Defog on Landorus, something's on pretty. Like,
I mean, this
does so much damage. It seems silly to give up a turn. Or
this is a very, very hyper offense team. The more I look at it, so I'm pretty sure that's how I'll have to get played. You have the Heatran for more bulk, but mons like Zeraora, Lando, and Heatran work so well together because Zeraora hates the grass type, and Heatran is probably the best grass type remover at the moment. And then Lando hates your waters, and you have Zeraora for that, so they complete each other pretty well. But how are you going to take a hit if you're the one who's behind in momentum with this team?
Let's see, but I can so much. Pattern
you do have
teleport. That'd be pretty.
It's also not taking in many hits with its 57 HP. You do have Gyarados just standard with Intimidating.
Yeah, you can swap that in and out. It's like Gyarados doesn't need just attack thing. Spam the waterfalls. It has Power Whip now. Water Zone. So it's a nice piece, and it's pretty bulky itself.
It's very bulky. You do lose the leftovers that it likes to benefit from if it's a bulky set, but
I kind of lean towards this team being better than the last one, because like I think you've got a very clear offensive style where like Blissey is gonna come in and take a hit, and it's okay to die, because dying is just a free pivot.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a trade-off team, but we'll just have to see how the team is played.
Probably put this a little higher than Zardace's, maybe like 17. Something like I like the idea. I think it's a bit one-dimensional. Once it's figured out, it's really hard to if people are actually watching, and then pardon me, but once it's figured out, it becomes a lot harder to win. It's crazy thing. So I don't know. So I'm not. On my see.
Yeah. Try attack.
There you go. Shadow Ball. It's a Gen 1 mod. It has
everything.
So, okay, so that's pretty cool. So we're gonna move on to DD's team. He is the coach of the Seul. Take a look what we got here. We have Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Spectrier, Excadrill, Zarude, Gouge, Gigalith, Porygon, and Flareon.
Best Wish Passer in the game.
That's pretty good. 65. A lot of it. This is a dope team. Actually, it's not a real sand team. It's just a sand team that happens to or it's a team with Excadrill that just happens to have a Gigalith on it.
I mean, exactly what I have on my team.
Yeah, it's a bonus. Excadrills does just fine in sand, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, it can hit hard.
Yeah,
135 is nothing to laugh at, obviously, and then 88 is a perfect speed tier for either the rapid spin boost or a scarf. So,
yeah, so I don't like. I think Excadrill. That's why sand is like so. Excadrill is just fine on its own. Like, yeah, I love sand. So Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Aptos. It's a baller. Mega Gallade's not a fan of either of these two mons, so just boink.
take them away.
Now. Spectre is a nice vendor. It goes well with the good fight. It's good. Can clear out the space for Spectre. Gotta watch out for those like switches. Zarude's a good speed tier. Everything about this team is pretty nice, actually. A little weak on hazard settings, but you've got good removal. You're fine running rapid spin. Excadrill, Zappy's fine to run defog. Run defog, like whatever you want. You really have two options for Stealth Rock, which is kind of weak.
Yeah, that's forced the Excadrill to bring rocks if you really need them, or Gigalith can also.
About this team, it's like you can do like Scarf Sarut, Scarf X, but you really want those rocks to like just start the chip process. But I guess with Scarf Drill, you're kind of okay running rocks. It's maybe not ideal. It's good.
I mean, Gigalith is a decent defensive option for this team, so it's like if it comes, it can easily slot on rocks. It doesn't even have to bring in the sand. Sturdy is fine for an ability to break a suicide lead, or just if you just want to get guaranteed rocks up. I'm not very well versed in Fini's Aptos. What are their defensive like capabilities working together? Like, is this enough to wall hyper offensive teams?
Fini's kind of busted in like super defensive direction. 70, 150, 30. It's ridiculous. So you're gonna like hold down the fort one other. It's Fini, so like the only thing you gotta watch out for poison grass. Zappy is like neutral to electric move. The other, obviously, you can't hit it with a grass move. Its best thing is static. You can start spreading pairs around. Like, it's bulky enough being pseudo legend. It's not pseudo legend. It's legendary. You know what I mean by that though? Like, it's bulky enough with just its raw stats that it switch in. It has enough speed that if you're faster, you can always get the roost. You can just hit them. Like, it's hard to stay in on Hurricane on 125 special stab. Like, that's not nothing. So that's like Zappy's cause, that it's defensive just by its base stats. You can run it defensive and it's pretty survivable. But also, so I think you're gonna see those first three every week. Just mix and match the last. I really like this team. I think it has great synergy.
Yeah, I really like the Tapu Fini and Dragalge synergy. If you need a special wall and you want Tapu Fini to be more offensive that week, Dragalge is phenomenal. You don't even need an Assault Vest on it. You can easily just make it 252 HP, 252 special defense, put on some Toxic Spikes, Flip Turn, Sludge Wave, Black Sludge, and you are set for special defense.
Yeah,
it walls everything with its dragon typing.
If you're playing against this team, you always gotta watch out for death any sets of like Iron Defense, Calm Mind.
Yeah,
so it's a thing problem. So I'm a big fan of this team. I think this has been my favorite team so far. Solid 9.5. Even though like with its faults, I don't think it matters too much. It hits hard enough. It has enough different ways to win. This is a hard team to prep for. When I see matchups like this, I kind of stop thinking mentally and just like start going.
Start breaking. It does seem like the top 3, and then out of the next 5, not really looking at Porygon Flare. Although Porygon, I've seen people use it defensively with Eviolite to moderate success.
Yeah, it's pretty bulky. It's like they have a strong ghost, like Spectre. Porygon, save me.
Dragapult's not doing anything to it.
So, big fan. I'm 9.5. All right,
solid.
Let's move on. Like even with all of its faults, I still. That's me being. All right, this is Waka's team. It's the Chelsea Chestnuts. You want to introduce the mons here?
Sure. So this is the Tornadus team. We have Tornadus, Kamao, Slowking, Rotom Heat, Mega Aggron, Heligo, Obstagoon, Serperior, Golurk, Clefairy, and Noctowl.
Yes, so alright, with this is obviously a region. Got 2. This is like all like high mid-tier mons. Like you've got one super expensive one with the Tornadus. This is kind of remarkable. Maybe not in the way that Noctowl. Alright, it's stupid. It's never should be matching. So Clefairy can be a defensive fairy. I'm kind of just calling out stuff as I see it. You're always gonna have rocks up. Got great setters. Mega Aggron's like big fan of setting rocks.
Yeah.
It's fine to trade. I like Rotom Heat and Slowking. That's a cool combo. Kamao is always threatening to win the game at any point because it's set up in like 5 different ways.
Yeah, you cannot ignore the Belly Drum Salicberry set, and it does it can win games just in prep. There's so many sets you just can't prepare for. It has Iron Defense, Body Press. It has the Omni Boost one. I forgot what it's called.
Clangorous Souls or something.
Yeah, Dragon Dance, Belly Drum. So many setup options.
It's got great abilities too for like setup, like soundproof if they're using a lot of roar to like phase month out overcoat.
Or
keep you safe
block
from,
the
like,
boom bursts.
Yeah, it's so it's pretty good, and you know Torn help you pivot around, and like all you have to do is get rid of like flyers and steals, and Serp can also take the game for you.
Yeah.
So or Nihilego if you get rid of the steals and grounds, and he's ready to take the game. So this is a nice team. Pivoting's a bit weak. You have teleport, ult switch, and a U-turn. Like once a mon comes in, it's kinda tough. I'm still not
you got parting shot on Obstagoon too.
That's true, but I mean, I'm still not super sold on Obstagoon. The good mon. I think you're running a Knife's Edge on it because you really want damage. You have to use that set. Unless they're like don't give you sticky whatever for free boost.
Which I ran before. I did run the Defiant set actually more often than the Gut set in one season, and it does become really dangerous if you have a Scarf on it, or even just
I just don't think he has
with Guts.
I don't think he has the hazard spam like to justify it. Like I think you can get a win off of it, but then maybe people see that and go, yeah, maybe I need to be a little more careful about debugging, or
I
just give him the setup. But this team has some good defensive synergies. it's a little weak on just the pure breaking offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, setup options are great, but just pure breaking, you get the one-shot meteor beam with Heligo. That can do something, maybe Specs Torn, but other than that...
I feel like this team relies a bit on breaking steals outright, and Kamao struggles to do that with that. Like, without a boosting move, like, I feel like usually you're trading... I know it's got like 100, 110 in terms of like its attacking prowess, but you're setting up, you aren't breaking.
Yeah.
I feel like you really want it to set up so like you're dependent on Rotom Heat. But you know, that's all just opinion. This is still a pretty solid team. Galurk can do some good work breaking front.
It can be a solid lead. Just a spam suicide lead. The Poltergeists are going to hurt from it. Probably one of the strongest Poltergeist users.
124 attack, let's go. I think, you know, that, you know, if you can address the breaking issue, which I think there's ways to, then you're going to be in business. So overall, I'd probably give this a pretty good score, like 8.5.
Yeah, it's a solid 8.5. And Kamao can also, as McGee showed on myself, it can also just scarf Boomburst at everyone.
It can. I think I prefer the set for Souls because you know, you get this stupid boost from, like, it's a setup move, but you get the throat spray. Stupid.
Yeah, and it can run like autonomize and weakness balls. You unlimited sets on this thing. And if you're like me and you like to throw sub on everything, Kama-Omo is your biggest enemy.
It's busted. Okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna take a look at Soul's team. Alright, so here on Soul's team, Mega Deontay, Victini, Zapdos Galar, Parathorn, Blastoise, Krookodile, Whimsicott, Porygon 2, Rotom, Best Rotom, Whirlipede, and Colossal. Well, alright, it's got Whirlipede and Rotom, so GG, we have our winner. Yay! Okay. So, off the bat, great hazard sets. Like, you can do whatever you want. You'll have spikes and stealth rocks for days. It's been a long time since I've seen like 3 spike setters on the same team.
Very defensive spike setters, so they can sit there, and if you're not taunted, they can just set up the spikes.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. It's a Mega Deontay team. So, like, you don't have to worry about breaking. You can break whatever, as long as you get the predicts right. You know, Victini can also with V-Create. This is a pretty solid team, actually.
Yeah,
I think
Zapdos breaks like crazy. Also,
I think the biggest worry is like the low speed. Like Whimsicott as your fastest at 116. It's not great. Okay.
You are not worrying. Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna kind of mitigate that in terms of like sweeping potential, because you could always like do, it's like the Shell Smash Blastoise. You've got Scarf Crook with Moxie. I think you've got plenty of ways to like still win games, or a Scarf Zapdos. So it's like not the end of the world that like your fastest mon's 116. You still break the 110. So like with Whimsicott, you know, you can always come in and like got prankster shenanigans that you have to worry about. I think the problem, and like got pretty decent momentum here too. Like teleport on the Rotom, Blastoise, Whimsicott, Zapdos, Victini all have ways to pivot. You have 2 rapid spinners, 2 defogs. I kind of like this team. I think this is like a. I have all these boxes. I'm gonna check them. Don't like, but if we're going by that criteria, the only thing is missing is a dragon type, which would, I guess, help marginally. This team's technically weak to water, but with Ferrothorn and Blastoise, I don't know. I think you're just fine with how you handle water.
Yeah, and with all the spikes and set of hazards that you can lay out, if you make the right call and switch and Zapdos on a defog,
yeah.
Next thing you know, you're sitting in front of a Scarfed +2 Adamant Zapdos galore.
Yeah, like GG, the game's done. So this team's pretty good.
I like it. It's well rounded.
How would you rate it?
What's the recovery? Oh, I guess if I'm gonna be nitpicky, maybe more support on that team would have been nice. So I think I'd rate another solid like 8.5 or 8.
I'd give it 8.5. We can give it a little bit more than this, like 8.51.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
make a statement.
I'll stick with that. Yeah. So, big fan. Moving on. Next we have Rock's team. So Rock. Yeah, I fell a little bit behind. Seul was, of course, the coach of the Vancouver Pavilions, and Rock is now the lean. I don't remember what he was last time, but I think it was a picture of the Rock. It was great. So here we have Mega Mile, Slowbro, Greninja, Nidoking, Thundurus Therian, Granbull, Terrakion, Serena, Raja, and Con. Well, it's got Mega Mile, so it's bad.
That's it.
Yeah,
2
cool.
points.
That was
quick.
On. Okay, in actuality, Mega Mile with Slowbro is a pretty cool combo. I think with Greninja as a cleaner is like pretty good for Mega Mile. Like Mega Mile breaks everything, right? In theory.
Yeah, it might struggle with the more bulky steel types, forcing it to run something like Sub-Focus Punch, which I've seen used before with good success. So, but you have the Terrakion to break that. You have the Nido with Earth Power that can clean up the steel types, and Thundurus for the bulky waters.
This is a team that appreciates Nidoking over Nidoqueen.
Yeah.
Like, you've got a lot of breaking power between the Mile King and Terrakion. Even Thundurus. This is the breaking Thundurus at 145.
Yeah. You just need a Scarf, and if you're lacking a good ground type, or if it doesn't come that weak, then the Thunderbolt's gonna hurt.
Pretty good momentum. That's pretty poor. Well, it's Serena.
It forces Serena, yeah.
I mean, Serena's probably coming anyway with the double waters, like, be able to protect those mons. And Serena's like your best bet for it. I mean, the Volt Absorb helps, but Serena's still probably better to come in, tank a hit, pivot out, or whatever it may be. You've got decent wish passing from Con if that's like your deal. I prefer to run Scrappy and just like smack things. Granbull's a meme. I haven't actually seen it used all that well ever. Like, got good attack, but you're running into the same issue as Mega Mile. You gotta hope the play roughs hit. So overall, not quite as good as the last teams, but this is still pretty solid. Maybe 8.25. 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put it down at 8.
Maybe I'd give it like an 8, yeah. While your Stealth Rockers can set up rocks, they're all mostly offensive pieces.
They'd rather be attacking.
So I think 8 is solid, but good support for Mawile and Slowbro, and I like it.
Okay, so let's take a peek. we're gonna move on to the next team. This is Spirit Union's team. Spirit Union is the coach of the Denton Zoroarks. Here on this team, Garchomp, Corviknight, Starmie, Weezing, Umbreon, Mega Charizard Y, Decidueye, Chansey, Vikavolt, and Hariyama. So let's see. It's a Garchomp team with the Corviknight. That's pretty nice. That's one of the biggest checks, counters, if you will, to Garchomp. It's really hard to actually break through Corvs. Same,
yep.
To a lesser extent, using Galar, because it has to run Levitate against you, but it's still nice to get rid of one of the Weezings against your Chomp. I think Garchomp's here can break, it can sweep for this team. Guard wise, actually like really good. So like, this is a nice team.
I think Zardwai fits it well.
Yeah,
but I'm a little biased against it just because I really don't like that it doesn't have an option to run an item.
It doesn't need an item. It's so bonkers on the special side. And I think you've got great removal for it. Like Corviknight's one of the best defoggers in the game. So
yeah, and you got the Starmie and Weezing with it.
So like you've got plenty of ways to remove pieces, and yeah, I think this is pretty nice. And you've got the Vikavolt too for some nice webs.
Yeah, Volt is actually a fantastic defensive piece. With 145 attack, you can just run it defensively, and those Volt switches and Bug Buzz still hurts.
Yeah, they catch on. It always has Energy Ball too, for the like, grounded waters. Hariyama is deceptively bulky, 144.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever coming, but I think if you force it and it gets a couple kills, that'd be pretty cool. Don't throw your games, but like I think that's pretty awesome. It's a little weak on the hazard side. No spikes, but two good rockers. Garchomp's happy to rock. Chansey is happy to put up. Weezing will do T-spikes if it can fit it, so it's pretty happy with that. I think Brian and good, like protecting, really protect there.
Yeah, they work well. I think that if you bring Chansey and Umbreon together, I think that adds a lot of fighting weakness to that team.
Look at that. Vikavolt and Weezing are ready to run in and take care of the fighting weakness.
Yeah. So I think it'll be based on the week which one of the two special walls, Umbreon or Chansey, you bring. Just because Corviknight, Weezing, and Vikavolt do such a good job working together. You don't want to make your team too passive, so because the team does lack a little bit of immediate offense.
Yeah. I'd probably the immediate offense it offers Guard-Y, Vikavolt, Chomp. And even then, like, Chomp wants that so bad, this team.
Yeah, you want this.
I'd probably give this, like, 7. I think defense is great and all, and it probably does better the lower you do. Like, a team like this would do better the lower you go in the... Like, I think defense works better in lower level leagues, just you have a lot more freedoms. What that allows for it, like wishes passed back to Chomp or Corviknight. Slower pace of games benefits defense more than offense, but I'm sure you can make other arguments. A lot more set up to see it. So I think this has some real potential, but probably said about us.
Fair.
We have 2 7 and a quarter. make this 7-2. Just for fun. Ever mix. Okay. So next up is Edster's team. This is the Brochurikin team. Brochurikin. Yeah, the Melbourne Rush. Okay, so here we have the Clefable, Weavile, Mega Guard, Nidoqueen, Rillaboom, Oleon, Heliolisk, Noivern, and Blaziken. No speed boost.
Yeah, no speed boost, Blaziken.
This is a solid, no low tier. It's the lowest 9. Fun fact. So, left Weavile, like, double up on Fairy right off the bat. That's something. I'm not sure I dig it, honestly, with... I know you've got Nidoqueen and Empoleon to handle poison attacks, but you also got Steel you have to work. Steel can usually run around well to handle the switch-ins. That's tough. I think this team wants to play offense.
Yeah, and you have that with Rillaboom, Weavile. They can hit really hard. And now Mega Guard does get some extra new toys.
Recover and Ice Beam.
Yeah.
It's true. So I think as long as you stay on the front, this team is gonna win games. But I guess if there's a type that you're Steel.
Yeah.
And it's not. And Guard's gonna be offense. Well, not with Recover. You can probably find some CM sets in the middle. Run bulky and. I'll get it back with Minder too.
Like 135 special defense is on par with Feeny, minus pretty much just 2 HP points, so it can take hits. Does have recovery. What I think this team could lacks in a little is just more walling capabilities. Because you'll be relying on Clefable most of the time, and then you have your I mean, Empoleon right now gets roost. Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, that's nice, and it's a good wall. It just can't take ground. Like, I think the ground spam's pretty real with this team. Like, you only really
you can run your Shucka Berry Scald or Hydro Pump on it, and it'll clear up the ground type that hit it. And you can roost up afterwards. And you have the grassy terrain to also weaken the earthquakes coming in, so that's something for the opponents to consider.
True.
We're gonna run earthquake or high horsepower.
You have decent removal and Noivern, Oleon, Blaziken, not decent.
Can
Stupid chicken. Blaziken's much better as a Scarfer these days now that it has you. A nice Scarf mod. So I always remember Scarf. It has a great move.
It does get a nasty plot, I think.
Yeah.
With vacuum waves and your focus blasts.
So that's. I'm kind of warming up on this team. Like I think this is a lot of off pressure for teams. I'd probably do this at like 7. I think it has enough offensive pressure, and I lean towards.
It's Hax Monkey, so all our points are invalid anyways.
I'd lose to the team immediately. So yeah. Let's go to this
Sun
next team. This is Liger, the Auto Chestnuts. Here we have Mega Scissor, Gliscor, Race, Vladik, Granitar, Comfy, Latias, Chestnut, Arbodor, Stoutland. we have a real sand team. Granitar and Stoutland. Let's go. GG. Everyone else is gonna lose. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but
1 week he'll do something, and then 110 attack in the sand, and I mean, it has. It does get superpower.
Gotta wait for the
to normal.
Weak to normal and slowed, like if your best defense. Outland starts slips. Okay. You can always do weird things too. Sandwich. It has potential side, but like the real meat and potatoes of this team is the Mega Scissor, the score. I would like draft order would say Sunrise, but
yeah,
the Latias and like Bug, I guess they're both. I guess he doesn't Bug. They're in Gliscor.
But I mean, you have Gliscor and and they can also, Gliscor and Latias take the fighting attacks and yeah.
Yeah. So like this seems like pretty defensive, but it has ways to punish things. Liger's not afraid to like probably banded something like that.
Yeah. I
would say like how well you run the T-Tar is how well this game goes. It's a pretty underrated mon, I think, because of the force fighting weakness. So what I'm personally a big fan of is people who like go ham.
Your rock polish, body press, iron defense sets.
Just D-dance, like. But this is another thing too. The Mega Scissor makes it seem way. This was Scissor.
Yeah.
The stat
Mega Scissor
make it a true potent offensive mon for the team.
Yeah, and you really don't need it to run even max attack for it to be able to get one sword sense up and sweep the entire team with a bullet punch. Like you need like 148 and you're set. I don't know.
So like you have lots of options here. The Melodic's a nice defensive. So is the Comp. Garbodor is like an underrated physical defensive mon with the aftermath stuff. Like
I think it's solid hazard stacking.
Yeah, got multiple ways to set rocks from mons that are happy to set rocks, mons that are happy to set spikes or T. Enough ways to remove it. Good pivoting. No rapid spinners, but you're only probably setting rocks, so it's probably not the end of the world. Lots of ways to roar mons out. It's a pretty dope team. I think this is like if you spend too much time trying to break the team, that's something like get a calm mind, lost your steam.
Yeah.
Tough. That's tough.
Lots of solid recovery on this team, like Scissor, Gliscor, Melodic, Comfy, Latias can all recover. Even Chestnut can, I think, run Synthesis. So
I really like the team. I'm probably gonna put this as like an order.
Solid.
Got 3 more. Let's finish strong. Coming up next we have Iris, or I don't know what Iris is going by now, if it really is Beats or what. It's Iris initially, but I thought it was just the server name. That's not important. Coach of the district or manager. Pretty cool. Out. Like a Lopunny, Slash, Dragon, Sylveon, Damoswine, Loking, Thundurus, Incarnate, No, Larry, Dottler. So this team has Larry. Cool, GG, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so in seriousness, off the bat, no really discernible standout. There's some weird things though. No fire type, no grass type. It's maybe not
no real water
necessary.
type.
Yeah.
Where's your fire, water, grass score?
It's like, which again isn't the end of the world. It's just like odd. No real hazards to speak of. Damoswine. Dottler can do sticky webs. I don't know. Dottler's ability.
It can surprisingly take a hit.
Yeah, it can. It's pretty bulky. I'm with you.
Yeah, it is an interesting team. I think where it shines is by its type synergy. With the fantasy core, the steel fighting, the Mamo with the ground and ice offense, even Slowking Galar.
Oh yeah, I don't think like you're missing out on not having the fire. That's something just something odd the first see it. Like the speed tiers are good. Maybe you want something. It's just. You're the real biggest. Your removals kind of stink. So that
will force it, yeah.
Yeah, that's really the two bad thing. Hazard game. I love where this like bulky offense is, and everything that comes in, hit, and then go hard. Slash Sylveon. Happy to King. Like it's Audino can Witch Path.
Audino's a great Wish Passer.
It can. I think you're not gonna see it much on this team. The offense. All your other so I think though the like weak hazard game like makes breaking things tough though. You're either relying on setup or right to really may just be getting more step falling. I'd put this team at 7.
It does free up your opponents to just not care about bringing any sort of removal. So yeah, 7 I think is fair.
Okay. Next up we have Zeke, the coach of Ohio, the whole entire state. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, this team really is just Ohio. It's a nice picture of the states, but just with Ohio.
Just Ohio.
So it's Tapu Koko, Pyro, Shifu Rapid. Wait a minute, is this your team?
It may or may not be my favorite team so far.
Scissor. It's got Mega Venus, Mandibuzz, Metagross, Seismitoad, Tornadus, and I've seen you do it enough times. Like Oko, Kyurem, stupid. Like it's actually a Kyurem Coco on its own is.
Yeah, it was my core last year in Cult of Larry, and I mean took me to the finals, so I can't complain.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
And if Urshifu, if you know the sets that Urshifu can run, and it'll really rack up the kills. You have so many different sets that you can run with it, and while people think that there's the rocky helmets of the grass types, who cares? Sub World Cup Drain Punch your set.
Yeah, I mean, like, who cares if you take damage if you heal it all back? And the thing with the rocky helmet, But really, you're kind of counting on the surging strikes, which hits 3. Instead, punch only hits once.
Yeah, you can Drain Punch close combat. You can U-turn out.
I feel like because of the typing, Shifu Rapid have like some more creativity. That's. Oh, and that's just because Wicked Blue.
Yeah.
You can get away with like choice band scarf strike. Doesn't. I mean, surging strikes is too, but like, it's either. Yeah, it's willy nilly. Scarf.
Yeah, if you have something like Tank Growth or Mega Venusaur in front of you, or even though this team has a Mega Venusaur, which I think is a pretty good addition.
Yeah.
To this team, I think overall it's solid.
Yeah, I really like this team. I think this is like a good blend of mostly off some or defense. Always get in size hits for you. Get up rocks. Oh, this is a team that you only have rocks, but like you've got 2 months that love to set it. I think that's totally acceptable. I think the thing you'd probably not get for is it doesn't have recovery. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, that's one thing. Just overall support on like the cleric side of things. And one thing I noticed here that Metagross is your slowest thing at 70, so it does kind of give the base 65s and down just the ability to run max HP and kind of run the tanky set, max HP, max attack. That could be a problem, but yeah, I'm willing to look past everything. It has my best 2 mons on the team, so.
Where would you put this team? I'd probably put it like 875. It's not quite in that top tier just because of the recovery issue. I think if you peter out, it's gonna be hard to regain that momentum. That's just maybe I'm wrong with that.
To me, it's a 10, so I can't give you my unbiased opinion.
We could split the difference and say like, I mean, it's really strong. Let's give it higher than a 9. Let's give it like 915.
Sounds good.
All right, last and certainly not least, we have Egotistical Elekid here, and this team has. Oh, he's the coach of the Kansas City Cleavers, and it's a Celesteela, Zygarde, Latios, Capulele, Florges, Tangrowth, Melmetal, Canyon, and Pinsir. Okay, this team's bit of like bulky mods. The team, Celesteela, Zygarde, Melmetal. Oh my gosh.
Tanky offense.
So this is missing a lot of like traditional things that are good. Like there's no pivot. Well, I guess Latios has Baton Pass.
That's
like,
it.
Like a Mon gets on the field and like it's here. Only
hard
Rockers,
switch the team.
Pinsir. This team's like gonna be dependent each week on like I'm gonna send a Mon out, try and set up and sweep. Send a Mon out, set up and sweep. Like I don't know. I'm not digging this team. This team's looking a little rough around the edges. We've got Double Dragon, Double Fairy. It's doubling up on everything. And we don't have like fighting. I suppose we're lucky we've got a ground.
I mean, one thing Elekid's known for is probably running a lot of spicy sets and getting really creative with them. But just looking at the team, just face value, yeah, does lack a lot of just traditional draft team standards.
Yeah, I'm not super. Like Tangrowth, Melmetal, or just as a nice defensive core with like this. It's just bulky. I don't even want to say this is an offensive team. It's just bulky. Everything can hit hard, I guess.
Yeah, your average attacks are pretty high. Like Melmetal Double Iron Bash, there's not a lot of things that can wall that, and if you can get rid of the fire, steel, and grass types, it can pretty much clean up. But that'll be a difficult task to do with not a lot of pivoting options.
I'm just. I think this is your lack of momentum. Doubles. Right. Or if your linchpin of defense crumbles, I guess you just have the neck. It's so bulky.
Yeah.
I probably gonna say this 6.5. It's too many. No momentum. No real hazard.
It's a little slow too.
110. Don't have. It's gonna be rough. Like Gladius Scarf.
I mean, you have the Volcanion, can put on a scarf.
I feel like a team. Anywho, I'd probably give this a 6.5. Totally. What's wrong on it?
Bring the spice.
Like, yeah, there's definitely potential for spice, but so that's it. I'll bring up the. Let's see final rankings. Let's make this. Your final rank. DD's team came out on top. Sorry for ya. But yeah, you can see your rankings here. This will be posted a while after the video is finished. But yeah, so DD comes out on top. And again, I guess none of these really matter. Hey, I'm just gonna play. I'd be surprised if the final standings look. You've listened to us for this whole hour and 20 minutes, you'll know. We have no idea what we're talking about. But we sound like we do. All that matters.
No bias whatsoever.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off. If you like this, hit a like, subscribe. It's me feel better. Strokes me. Doesn't really help because whatever, but it does make me feel better. Come check us out. We're the Cult of Larry Jeff League. There will be a link to the Discord server in the description of the video. Once again, I've been Dr. Geo. With me this whole time is
Huitku.
It's been wonderful for this long. Thank you. Catch you later. Peace.
Bye.